All right, so we are going to get started on 1.2c, interior angles of triangles. I am on page 39, so go ahead and follow along. Remember, at any time if you need to pause the video to copy down something, feel free to do that. Okay? All right, so first, what we have here is just a reminder of what we learned that first day with the interior angle theorem of triangles. And all it says is that the sum of the angle measures of a triangle, and they're talking about the interior angles, is 180 degrees, which you guys already knew, right? That's something that we talked about the first day. You already knew this theorem. So we can come up with an equation for that. Knowing that all three interior angles have to have a sum of 180 degrees, we actually can come up with this equation here that says it doesn't matter if I know the actual numbers for each one of those angles. I know that when I add them all together, they equal 180 degrees. And that's what that equation says. So I don't know what x is, I don't know what y is, I don't know what z is, but when I add those three together, I do know that it equals 180 degrees. So let's look at some examples here and what that means for us in math class. So you can see from these three examples that I have, and each one is a little bit different, but you can see from these three examples there are some things that are unknown. So what we're going to do is use that equation to figure out what the unknown values are for each one of these triangles. I'll start with the first one. So for the first one, I'm going to have to zoom in so I can write a little nicer for you. For the first one, I've got three angles, question mark, 55, and 80. I know that all three of those added together equal 180 degrees, so that's actually what I'm going to do first. I'm going to write out that as an equation, what I just said. So question mark plus 55 plus 80 equals 180. Now when I add together the like terms, which my like terms here are the positive 55 and the positive 80, when I add together my like terms, that equals 135 degrees. So now I have question mark plus 180 equals 130, or question mark plus 135 degrees equals 180 degrees. I'm going to solve this by using inverse operations. So remember that whatever we do to one side, we have to do the other to get the question mark by itself. I'm going to subtract 135 from both sides, and I'm left with my question mark is 45 degrees. 180 minus 135 is 45. So I was able to use that equation to find the missing angle. And that's what we're going to do for the other two. It's just that they have variables involved. So let's try this out. For my next example here, I'm going to set up my equation first. The 2x plus 4 is the expression for that angle right here. So I've got 2x plus 4 plus 110 plus 42. So all I'm doing is adding all three angles together, and I know that it equals 180 degrees. I know there's an x in there. I'll be able to find out what that is by setting up this equation. So this time I've got some more like terms. I've got this plus 4, this plus 110, and this plus 42. So when I add all of those together, I end up getting 2x plus 156 equals 180. Now it's just a two-step equation, so still using inverse operations, but now I have to do it twice. I'm going to eliminate all the other numbers so that it's the x by itself. On both sides I have to subtract 156, and I'm left with 2x equals 24. My last step would be to divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 12. So we were able to solve for x there. I could find out what that angle actually equals now, right? Because I have a value for x. So the last example is going to have us do just that. So you can see here I have a variable. Actually, I have two variables there. It's the same variable. They're both an x. But I have variables that I need to solve for, and then the question is find the measurement of angle A. So I have to figure out what this expression equals once I solve for x. So I'm going to start the same way I started the other two examples. I'm going to set up my equation first. So for my equation this time, I'm going to have 6x plus 7 plus 5x plus 10 plus 75. So when I add all three angles together, it's always going to equal 180 degrees. Okay, this time my like terms, I have some constants. I have my plus 7, I have my plus 10, and I have my plus 75. And when I say constants, of course I mean those ones that don't have any variables attached to them, right? So I combine those like terms, but I also have, and I'll circle these ones so it looks different than the underlines, I also have these x terms that I can combine. So 6x plus 5x is 11x. 7 plus 10 plus 75 is 92. So plus 92 equals 180. And now it's just a two-step equation just like the second example. I'll start by subtracting 92 from both sides. Remember, my job is to isolate the variable. I'm left with 11x equals 88. I'm going to divide both sides by 11 for my last step. And I get x equals 8. Except this time, I'm not done. So I was able to solve for x, but remember the question was, find the measurement of angle A. So I need to substitute in x to this expression here to see what the measurement of angle A is. So I do that 6 times 8 instead of x plus 7. Well, 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus 7. The measurement of angle A is 55 degrees. All right, one more type of example we're going to do are these puzzles on the next page. So that is page, what page is that in your book? Page 40 in your book. So we're going to turn to the next page, and it says use the information given in the drawing to find the measure of the missing question mark angle. Show all work. So what we're going to use is that theorem, because you can tell here I've got two triangles side by side, right? So we're going to use that theorem to help us, and we're going to start with a triangle that is only missing one angle. Okay, so for instance, this triangle here, I don't know question mark, I don't know that angle, but I also don't know this angle, right? So that has two missing angles. I'm going to start with the other triangle because it's only missing one angle. It's only missing this angle right here. And I will, just so we don't confuse it with anything else, I will label that missing angle x until I know what x equals, okay? I'll set up my equation. So x plus 41 plus 84 equals 180 degrees. So even though I don't know what x is, I can still set it up in an equation because I know when I add all three angles together, it has to equal 180 degrees. Combine like terms, I got a plus 41 and a plus 84 there. So that's x plus 125 equals 180. And then subtract 125 from both sides. And I get that x equals 55 degrees. So I can erase my little x there now, and I can put in that this is 55 degrees. Now, why does that help us? Well, because of this symbol right here on the corner. What's that symbol telling us? It's telling us that that angle is 90 degrees. So these angles together have to equal 90 degrees, and I already know that one of them is 55 degrees. That's what I just solved for. So to get the other one, to get this angle, all I have to do is 90 minus 55. And 90 minus 55 is 35 degrees. Oops, 35 degrees. So now I can solve for the question mark, because that triangle now only has one missing angle, and it's the question mark. So I'll set up another equation. Question mark plus the angle I just found out, 35, plus what they gave us, 120, has to equal 180 degrees. Combine like terms. I've got the plus 35 and the plus 120. So we've got question mark plus 155 equals 180. And then just subtract 155 from both sides. I get the answer for my question mark. So 180 minus 155 is 25 degrees. So we were able to solve that puzzle using two things. You know that all triangles, doesn't matter what the triangle looks like, all three angles have to add up to 180 degrees. We also know this symbol here is telling us those two angles are complementary, that they have to add up to 90. So once I found one of them, I was able to find the other using that information. All right, one more example to look at, and then we'll get started on our practice. So for this example, again, I want to start with a triangle that's only missing one thing, and that would be this angle right here on the bottom triangle. So I'll label that one X. I'll set up my equation. X plus 51 plus 23 equals 180. Combine like terms. In this case, that's the plus 51 and the plus 23. So I've got X plus 74 equals 180. Subtract 74 from both sides, and we get X equals 106. Because I know X, now take a look at this, I can figure out this missing angle on the triangle up above because this line and this line form those angles. Those two lines intersect. Well, guess what? X, and let's say that this angle is angle Y, those are vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles are congruent. I forgot my degree symbol. So because we know vertical angles are congruent, I know that this angle right here is 106 degrees. Congruent means that it has the same measure. So I'm ready to write my equation for that question mark. Now it's question mark plus 106 degrees plus 47 degrees equals 180. Combine like terms, and for this one I've got 106 and 47. So that would be question mark plus 153 equals 180. And then just subtract 153 from both sides. And that will give us our measurement for question mark. The question mark equals 27 degrees. Again, we're able to figure that out using two different things. First, that all three angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. But then also what we learned from that first day, vertical angles. Vertical angles get formed when two lines intersect and they're across from each other or opposite of each other. Okay, and they are congruent. That means the same measure, having the same measure. All right. Your assignment is on pages 41 and 42. If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher.